there are some among us who feel different, not superior, not better. Different we can, in a way, they cannot explain. They walk through life with a sense of detachment, as if they are watching the world rather than living in it. They question things that others accept blindly. They feel the weight of emotions more deeply, yet they are often misunderstood. These are not coincidences, these are signs. Zen teaches that enlightenment is not given but realized. The Buddha himself was once a seeker, lost in the illusions of the world before awakening to his true nature. Similarly, those who are chosen are not selected by some divine force, but by their own nature. They are chosen by their struggles, their insights, and their ability to see beyond the surface of things. The old saying goes, the teacher appears when the student is ready. But what if the student is not waiting for a teacher, but rather becoming one through their own experiences? What if the path of the chosen is not about recognition, but about awakening? There are three undeniable signs that reveal if you are among those who walk this rare path. If you recognize them in yourself, then you are already on the journey, even if you don't realize it yet. Zen philosophy does not recognize destiny in the way the world does. It does not say that some are born great while others are not. Instead, it teaches that greatness comes from recognition, from an awareness so deep that the illusions of the world begin to fade. In the teachings of the awakened ones, there are three qualities that separate those who are truly chosen from those who remain asleep. These are not external attributes like wealth, power, or status. Rather, they are internal signs that reveal a soul ready to transcend a chosen one has. 1. The burden of deep awareness. 2. The isolation of the awakening mind. 3. The unshakable pull toward purpose. These are not easy gifts. They are often painful, often misunderstood. But they are also the signs of someone who has been called not by fate, but by their own unfolding consciousness. Let us now step into the story of a traveler who carried these signs unknowingly until he came to understand their true meaning. The story of the wanderer. The first sign, the burden of deep awareness. There was a traveler who had walked through many places, yet no place had ever felt like home. And he was not searching for gold or glory, nor was he escaping anything. He was simply walking, observing, and thinking. From a young age, he had always felt things differently. When others laughed, he often sensed the sadness hidden beneath their joy. When people spoke, he could hear what they were not saying. When he looked at the world, he saw not just what was there, but also what was missing. One day, as he passed through a dense forest, he encountered a wise old monk sitting beneath a massive tree. The monk looked at him and smiled. "You carry something heavy," the monk said. The traveler was surprised. "I have nothing but my small bag of food and clothes." The monk shook his head. "That is not the burden I speak of. You carry the weight of seeing too much." The traveler sat down, feeling a strange relief. "I have always felt this way. But I do not understand. Why is it a burden? The monk placed a small cup in front of them and poured tea until it overflowed. A mind that sees too much is like this cup. It is full beyond its limit. When one sees the truth behind every word, the pain behind every smile, and the illusion behind every belief, it becomes exhausting. The traveler nodded. Yes, sometimes I wish I could just be like everyone else. The monk smiled gently. And yet you cannot, because you are chosen. The burden of deep awareness is the first sign of being a chosen one. It is the ability to see beyond illusions, to understand things others do not, and to feel emotions with an intensity that cannot be ignored. But with great awareness comes great suffering. The enlightened ones always said that ignorance is a kind of peace, while awareness is a kind of weight. Yet this burden is also a gift. It allows one to see truth where others see deception. It allows one to navigate life with wisdom rather than blind acceptance. This burden is not meant to be escaped. It is meant to be carried with understanding. Those who learn to master become not just observers of the world, but guides for those still lost. The second sign, the isolation of the awakening mind. The traveler continued his journey, but something had changed. He understood now that his awareness was not a curse, but a sign. Yet, a new question arose within him. Why do I always feel alone, even among others? One evening, he arrived at a village where a festival was taking place. Laughter filled the air, music echoed through the streets, and people danced with joy. The traveler watched, but he felt separate from it all. He could not lose himself in the moment as the others did. A young boy noticed him standing alone and asked, "Why don't you join us?" The traveler smiled faintly. I do not know how. The boy laughed. He just let go, but the traveler could not. He realized that he had always been this way. No matter how much he tried, he always felt apart from others, not because he was above them, but because he saw too much. That night, he found himself back at the monk's tree. "Why do I always feel alone?" he asked. The monk chuckled. "Do you see the moon? Yes, it is always in the sky. Yet it never touches the earth. Its light reaches everyone, yet it remains alone," the traveler sighed. "Is this my fate?" "No," the monk said. "It is simply a stage. The more you awaken, the fewer people will understand you. The mind that begins to see truth no longer fits within the illusions of the world. But this loneliness is not the end. It is the beginning of your purpose." The second sign of being a chosen one is the feeling of isolation. Those who awaken often feel disconnected from the world because they no longer belong to the same illusions as others. This loneliness is not a punishment. It is a transformation. The caterpillar does not remain with the other caterpillars when it becomes but a butterfly. The mind that awakens must walk a different path, but true isolation does not last forever. When the chosen one accepts their path, they find others who walk the same journey. This is not the loneliness of being lost, but the solitude of one who is finding their way. The third sign, the unshakable pull toward purpose. As time passed, the traveler began to notice something else, an inner voice, a calling that would not let him rest. And he did not know where he was going, but he felt a pull towards something greater. He returned to the monk and asked, "Why do I feel like I am meant for something, but I do not know what?" The monk smiled, "Because you are chosen. And now it is time for you to choose." The third sign is the calling toward purpose. The chosen ones cannot remain stagnant. They feel an inner fire that pushes them towards something beyond themselves. This calling is not always clear, but those who trust it, who follow it despite the uncertainty, eventually find the path meant for them. Embracing the path of the chosen, the journey, one is not about recognition or superiority. It is about depth. It is about being unable to live on the surface of existence, being drawn to something beyond what others see. The teachings of Zen and Buddhism reveal that those who awaken to this path will inevitably face challenges, but within those challenges lies profound meaning. The three signs, the burden of deep awareness, the isolation of the awakening mind, and the unshakable pull toward purpose, are not separate qualities, but interconnected stages of spiritual growth. Let us now reflect on each of these teachings and how they shape those who carry them. 1. The burden of deep awareness. Seeing the truth behind illusions, awareness is both a blessing and a weight. To see through illusions means to see the hidden suffering in others, the falsehood in words, the transient nature of all things. Those who are deeply aware cannot be fooled by empty promises, nor can they blindly follow the patterns of the world. Yet, this awareness often brings pain. A heart that feels deeply will suffer deeply. A mind that perceives beyond the obvious will struggle to find peace in simplicity. This is why many people choose ignorance over truth, because truth requires courage. Zen wisdom teaches that suffering arises from attachment. Those who are chosen must learn not to attach themselves to the pain of awareness. Instead, they must transform their understanding into wisdom. Rather than carrying the world's sorrow as a burden, they must learn to use their insight to bring clarity, both to themselves and to others. Accept that your awareness is not a flaw, but a gift. Do not seek to silence your insights. Instead, learn to balance them with peace. Recognize that seeing deeply means feeling deeply, but feelings are just passing clouds in the sky of consciousness. 2. The isolation of the awakening mind, walking alone but not lonely. One of the most painful realizations for those on this path is that they do not belong in the same way others do. The chosen ones often feel like they exist in a world that does not fully understand them. Conversations feel shallow. Relationships feel disconnected, and social gatherings feel meaningless. But this loneliness is not a curse. It is a sign of transformation. When a person begins to awaken, their mind shifts from external distractions to internal understanding. They no longer seek validation from the crowd. They no longer need approval to feel whole. Zen masters say to be alone is not to be lonely, it is to be free. The mind that seeks wisdom will naturally move away from meaningless distractions. The heart that seeks depth will naturally avoid superficial attachments. This solitude is not about isolation, it is about preparation. The loneliness of awakening is a temporary phase. Over time, those who walk this path will find others who see as they see, who understand as they understand. They will realize that the loneliness they once was feared was simply a transition into a more meaningful way of being. Do not fear solitude, use it for growth. Understand that feeling different does not mean something is wrong with you. Seek depth in relationships rather than quantity. One genuine connection is worth more than 100 shallow ones. 3. The unshakable purpose, the path finds you. The greatest challenge of being chosen is the inability to remain still. The mind of the chosen one is never content with stagnation. It always seeks meaning, growth, and truth. There is an inner voice that calls them towards something greater, even if they do not yet know what it is. This calling is often met with resistance. The world encourages comfort, stability, and conformity. The chosen ones, however, feel an inner restlessness. They cannot simply exist, they must evolve. They must create, they must transform. Buddhist teachings remind us that purpose is not something we find, it is something that finds us when we are ready. The mind that seeks truth will naturally walk toward it. The heart that longs for meaning will eventually discover it. The greatest mistake is to ignore this calling out of fear. Those who resist their purpose feel lost. Those who follow it, even with uncertainty, begin to discover a flow in life that others do not. The key is to trust the process, even when the destination is unknown. Listen to your inner calling. Do not suppress it out of fear. Accept that your purpose may not be clear at first, but it will unfold with time. Move forward, even in uncertainty. Clarity comes through action, not hesitation. You were not chosen by the world. You were chosen by your own awakening. To be a chosen one is not about being special in the eyes of others. It is about seeing beyond the ordinary and stepping into a life of awareness, solitude, and purpose. Many will never understand this path. Many will question it, resist it, or fear it. But those who recognize these three signs in themselves know deep within that they cannot turn back. The path is not easy, but it is meaningful. It is not always joyful, but it is fulfilling. The burden of awareness, the loneliness of awakening, and the restless search for purpose are not obstacles. They are guiding lights. The old masters have said, those who seek truth must be willing to walk alone, but they will never be lost. If you recognize these signs in yourself, take comfort in this. You are not alone. The journey is yours, but others walk it too. And as you continue forward, you will find those who understand, who resonate, who walk beside you. The world may never know who the chosen ones are, but the chosen ones always know themselves. Thanks for watching. Hope you enjoyed this video. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel for more content like this. Just click the subscribe button below and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update. Also, feel free to leave a comment and let me know what you'd like to see next. See you in the next video.